Welcome again, everybody, to another session of Conscious Gatherers. I'm joined here with Royse and Bev, and you're in for another 30 minutes of metaphysical happiness. Ladies, are you with me?
Yes. Yes. Welcome, everybody, to our 57th episode on this 14th of December. So we're coming up on the holidays, or we're in it. And very interesting times. If we can say that, we can say whatever we want, right? And interesting they are. And from my understanding, they're going to get real interesting. And things are getting real and to be revealed. This is what I wasn't going to talk about tonight, but I want to bring it up because a lot of things are happening. So it's and answer some of the things that Royce and I tuned in today, so thought we would share that. But things are getting heated up worldwide, and I think we're going to see some interesting happenings. And I'm not going to designate what they all are because I really don't know what they all are, but I think we're going to find out. So
so just keep your cool. Stay with the program.
Keep your cool, because I think I've been told over and over again that glorious times ahead, and so keep that in mind and live in the now. We don't necessarily need to. We don't really need to look out there and keep looking forward and forward and forward, is because we're going to miss obviously the present. I know that's kind of a corny thing that we've said for years, but it is true. Mm-hmm. So understand what it is in you.
Yeah, there's an old saying that in order to enjoy life, you have to stop and smell the roses. And sometimes all the time, it's the simple things that bring us joy and that recenter us. So if you find yourself getting out there, getting upset or whatever, just smell a flower. Look at the beauty of nature, and you'll come back.
Well said. Yeah, it's those simple things in life, as you said, and that's what we are realizing that.
Yeah.
Okay, Terry, you were going to say something?
Well, no, I was just going to say, you brought up some stuff, so whatever you ladies kind of talked about or meditated on today would be a great thing to bring up now.
It would, okay, because it fits in with the way we started out.
I'm sorry.
I'm just going to say this first. Both of us, started writing and not knowing what the other person was getting, and they correlate. Surprise, surprise, right? And so we want to share that with you, and then Terry, I know you have a lot to talk about too. So we'll start out with this, and then we're going to go on. All right, you want to go ahead?
Okay. I just started writing. Actually, I wasn't really listening. I was just focused on writing something clearly. This is what I got. Along our journey, many have said, "Where are we going? What are we doing?" And to that questioning, I say, we are going into matter, and that matter is filled with the same love that called us into being. Within each molecule of matter lies enough space to fill the universe, and enough energy to give birth to trillions of universes. And so what we are doing is creating from all that has been into all that shall be. Within the heart of each and every one of us is the beginning as well as the end of it all. The heart of the matter, therefore, is love. The creator, the play, the actor, and the journey along which our ponderings call forth a new beginning.
That's really pretty.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, after she wrote it, she looks at me and says, "We'll see if this makes any sense." I'm like, yeah. And some of the same words I got. And
Yeah.
That was very eloquently stated. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll share what I received. Excuse me, I got to make a quick call. Yeah, okay. Says that, okay, here's what I received. The superficial will come to light. What's not real will fade away. It is the newness of being. So much more to come. All shields of disguise are evaporating within your world and within you. Your fullness of being is showing. It is only for you to realize this. Humanity, this is your time. Many doors will shut. Got the word shut versus close. And many more will open. Be not afraid of what will befall you. Step through the debris. That's it. Step through the debris. It need not be difficult. Allow yourselves to breathe in the beauty that is coming forth. Wear your clothes of grandeur. It is not a look at me. It is look within me. All is there. God's source. It is like your world will turn upside down, then right itself. Some players leaving and new players coming forth. There will be dancing on the streets. I know we talked about this in former episodes, but I haven't heard this for quite a while. So I like to hear that. There will be dancing on the streets. It is you, dearest ones, who will be dancing. There is nothing that will stop you. It is rejoicing. It is a birth, full birth, which is love.
Thank you.
And that was it, yes. So there you go. We're talking about the Christmas time. Of course, we always talk about the birth, but that birth within us, which is love, and realizing that's what we are.
Yeah.
So pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one thing I was checking out today, too, and I wanted to bring this up. Just actually looking at a couple lines in my third book. And just a moment. This life, that means the life we're in now, incorporates all aspects of ourself, just all this life of yourself, but ourselves, into a finely tuned being of immense powers. That goes right along with what both Royse and I talked about. Royse talking about the energy in the molecule and that how we can form new universes and trillions of universes. I mean, that's pretty mind-boggling when you look at it that way. Yeah. And then you look at what is the universe. Yeah. So this goes pretty deep, but it really gets you to start thinking about, wow.
The immensity of it all.
The immensity of it all, exactly. Yeah, what is life? And then we're changing. I've heard the word perception being brought up by a few people of late, and it's really true because, you know, our reality starts changing because our perception of that reality is changing. So it's happening now, and people are feeling it, people are seeing it. And some of the stuff that's been happening on Earth, they're saying no more, I'm done with this, blah, blah, blah. And then what else is there? And this immensity that is us. So.
Yeah, we're stepping out of that preset gobbledygook, whatever that was, and creating something new. It's really, really quite a wonderful thing.
Yeah. So Terry?
Yes, ma'am.
Feel free to add to this and what you want to bring up.
Well, you know, what you've both talked about and stuff and the things that you've mentioned that the times are changing. What's happening is the planet is awakening to who we truly are, divine beings, and all of the power-hungry individuals who have been trying to grasp power and control people, they're losing that. And so all of the lies and deception that have been perpetrated on humanity from the power hungers are coming to view now. And so part of what I intend to do over tonight, starting with, is looking at some of the things that our different sects have found and have been perpetrating the falsehoods of what these are. And we're going to deal with tonight, part of it, with the Lord's Prayer. The Great Prayer, it's called, and it's been turned into the Lord's Prayer. And we all know it, no matter what, here in Christianity for sure, have all said the Lord's Prayer. And we're going to take it line by line periodically here and interpret it metaphysically of what it was intended for. The Great Prayer wasn't ever intended to be just a vain repetition of words. It's a prayer, and a prayer is never about the words that are used. The prayer is the movement of the Spirit within that you touch and try to awaken to accomplish your desires. You use the mind, which are words, thoughts, affirmations, and things like that, to touch and awaken the Spirit within you. And the latter, the Spirit, is what does the work. We don't understand how it does it, but it does it. The treasure of the ages is within this prayer, this instructions. And awaiting to claim, as soon as you are illuminated, you can claim this treasure that was given to us as an instruction on how to pray and how to manifest, basically. And if you remember last week, we talked about, how to go within, because before Jesus gave us the Lord's Prayer, he gave us and said, go within, go in the closet, go in secret, and God in secret will see you in secret, but give you openly. And that's what basically means go into your mind, go into your inner self and sanctum. We'll talk more about it. And feel and see what you want manifested, and Spirit moved by your feelings and your desire will manifest what you have felt. And that's basically what creation's all about. So let's get into the Great Prayer, and let's talk about the first verse of that. Our Father, which art in heaven. Okay? We have seen that, we talked about the introduction already that Jesus talked about, that you go within. What we usually call life is only the form life takes. A fish, a dog, a man. These are forms of conditioned states of the formless and unconditioned life, which is everywhere. Beyond every form of life is the formless out of which it is made. This formless life is not to be described by sense impressions. The five senses describe life's manifestations, but they cannot cognize what is taken from the invisible. That is why when you go within, you leave the world of sense impressions. You close your eyes, and the prayer, you shut out the world and the form of things. You forget all about the five senses that tell you about yourself, that you are a physical being, that you are a certain kind of man living in a certain environment, performing certain functions. You forget all the definitions of yourself, that you are an American or a Russian, that you are a cook or a banker, that you are a person of limited means and achievement or one of opulence and great works, that you are limited in health or full of it. You forget all these qualities and define concepts about yourself, but there is something that you do not and cannot forget, and that is that you are. This quiet, untrembled awareness of existence is life, or as the Bible states it, the presence of God. In this consciousness, not consciousness of anything, but just consciousness, the Bible also calls it I am, present tense of the verb to be. In other words, beingness, or the simple sense of being alive. This awareness that I am is called the Father, for it is the progenitor of all things. It is the great no thing, undifferentiated life, from which all things, forms, proceed. The Our Father is the recognition that all men and all things come forth from this undefined and impersonal presence of life. Since all men and all things come forth from it, they are not different and separate from it. They are the manifestation of it. But that is not to say that the manifestation is not the life. Jesus said, "He that hath seen me hath seen the Father." He that hath seen the manifestation has seen the being that is manifesting. Again, my Father is greater than all. I and my Father are one. The Father is the unconditioned and formless life I am. And that which I think of me is the manifested form of the Father, or a defined and conditioned state of the unconditioned being. The expressor and the expression are one, but the expressor is greater than the expression. My consciousness is my capacity to conceive, the awareness that I am in my capacity to conceive that I am this, that, or the other. That which I conceive myself to be is consciousness congealed into form. For example, take a tumble of water and freeze it. The resulting cylinder of ice is still water, but it is water congealed into a definite form. The water is a defined and conditioned, but it is still water. The water and the ice are not two separate, different things, basically. They are both water. We speak of it as ice when it assumes a solidified state, and water when it is formless. Thus, man and God are one. Man is the form of God. In the Bible, the formed world is called the Son, who testifies of the Father. The awareness that you are, your consciousness, is the Father, and that which you are conscious of being is the Son, bearing witness of the Father. The Father is the impersonal presence of life, I am. This impersonal presence begets many sons. The moment you claim yourself to be this or that, the unconditional life differentiates into form, and the form is the Son who bears witness to the consciousness that expressed it. If you become conscious of limitation in your affairs, for instance, this consciousness will assume shape and form in your experience, and the experience is the Son who testifies of the Father, of the state of consciousness which created it. Every idea you hold in relation to yourself has a mood or feeling which is one with it. For instance, if you think of yourself in terms of limitation, the idea you hold of yourself will generate a mood or a feeling which is depleting, fear, worry, etc. On the other hand, if you think of yourself as successful, happy, and free, this view will generate its moods of joy. In either case, the mood is the Father of the manifestation. Sustain any mood, and you will have an objectified result which bear witness of its Father. This knowledge of the Father is the power of causation within yourself in the most wonderful wisdom that you can possess. It is the mystery behind, from all generations, Christ in you, the hope of glory. This inner place of life, unmanifested, is called heaven. In the Bible, here Jesus locates the Father which art in heaven. Heaven is the rarefied state. Earth is the formed or manifest state. One is spirit, the other is matter. Mind is the medium between these two, and these three are one. For consciousness or spirit is the reality in each. The spirit is conditioned in your mind, mental conception, and becomes expressed in your body and affairs. When you wish to pray, you must always turn recognition to the formless source of life within you. You must recognize it to be the one and only cause, and power in your world. This is the meaning of the first statement in the Great Prayer. It is the recognition of the one true God, a recognition that there is no power outside yourself. It is an observance of the first commandment of Moses, thou shalt have no other gods before me. All men's belief in powers external to himself are other gods. The belief in a germ to cause disease or a drug to heal is a false god. The belief that other men wield power over you is another. The belief that you are what you eat is still another. The belief in rulership of the stars is a false god. True external conditions may inspire certain ideas and moods in you, but the power is not the condition, but in the mood you allow them to produce in your consciousness. For example, a person is told that he has only years to live. He is filled with fear and foreboding expectancy. He dies. Who or what took his life? Listen to the words of the great teacher and listen with understanding. No man taketh my life from me. I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. Condition a child from his early days to believe in himself and his own powers to accomplish, fashion and mold into him a confidence in his health, his wealth, and his general happiness, then send him where you will. Give him what outside education you choose, little or great, and he cannot fail. Better still, reveal to him the nature of this great prayer. Show him that God dwells within man and that this is the gate of heaven. Teach him that God and man are truly one actually, not just in metaphysical theory. A human being is both God and man. He is God in his inward nature, consciousness. He is man, manifestation, in his outward appearance. Teach a person the practicality of all this, and you will have given him the most prized possession a mortal can attain. The great prayer of Jesus is a petition only for those who have not seen the nature of what they call God. The word God to many people is another name for their ignorance. If one has not found God within himself, he naturally supposes him to be without. To one whose God is outside himself, the great prayer is a petition for grace and blessing. This is good, for such a mind needs the petition form of prayer, he being incapable for the time being of understanding any other. To the illumined mind, the prayer is a formula and guide to mental, emotional operations by means of which he enlarges his life. The great prayer is an outline for the right ordering of your mind to the end that you may condition the spirit into the form your own ideal. It tells you to recognize the source, cause, the only, the I am. It tells you to recognize no other. In truth, there is no other. All is consciousness, conditioned or unconditioned. To worship means to count worthy. Count nothing worthy of your attention but the power of God in you. To study the external world is to study effect. To study yourself is to find causation. The only proper study of man is man, said the Greeks. And that's just the first phrase in the Lord's Prayer. More to come.
An awful lot of information there. That'll be something that people will
And
need
again,
to...
I am reading from the Great Prayer, an interpretation of the Lord's Prayer by Irvin Seale, S-E-A-L-E. Available, check it on Amazon. All the sources will come up. It's very inexpensive. It's a very quick read. It's a very small book, but the most powerful book I've ever seen and got in my hands, and it puts everything together, and it makes sense. I mean, if it either resonates with you now or it doesn't, and at some point it will resonate, and it maybe will never resonate with you, which either case is perfectly fine. But it's my call and Bev's call and Royce's call to bring what we see as our truth and open it up to, and hopefully people will see, and it'll be their truth if it be. Again, it doesn't matter. We're just bringing forth what we see and what we're called to do. And so I hope you enjoyed that. And in 2 weeks, we'll go to the next line in the Great Prayer.
Well, thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
It was an awful lot said there. And, it's in what you're doing, as we talked about earlier, is you're changing your perception of reality, and that's what's happening. This, brings that old religion, if you want to call it as such, and
Right.
the way of looking at the Lord's
in
Prayer.
a nutshell, our Father which art in heaven, our consciousness is within us, and heaven is a state of consciousness, not a physical place. And you go into your consciousness of the Father away from the senses so that you can experience the Father, the Spirit, who dwells within you in a state of consciousness, of unconditioned consciousness. And that's why God can never be defined, never be described. He's unconditioned and everything and everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
I am.
I am. I've used the term "all that is," which is everything. And as Royse again talked about the multi-universes, and all of that.
Yeah, and another way to look at it is that which was before the beginning and after the end. Our brains go, what? but that's what it is, Before,
and because our reference point, our perspective is all from matter.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're relating to now. And that's what the Lord's Prayer is showing us. We have to really know who we are and the true power that we are and have, not power over other people, but the power within us to do and have and experience whatever our heart desires. We have to leave the five senses and the material world. That's not the reality of who we are. And that's what the prayer is. It's an instruction on how to get to find your power and who you are and have always been. But our reference point, because of the forgetfulness and the lessons we've chose, we have free will, but we also have the veil, which we come in not knowing or remembering. That's what we've chosen to do so that we can be reborn, as Jesus would say, again, and understand who and what we are.
Yeah, exactly.
And definitely not how Orthodox Christianity explains it, because they're all consumed with power and control. Now, I'm not saying all Orthodox people and religious people are that way, but the ones that are on the top, they know. And they are manipulating their followers, and it's all power, control, and money. Well, it's simple as that. The only way I can say it.
I wonder if they really know,
Yeah, but the paradigm has shifted, and everything is changing for all of us. And so where the veils have closed off the truth, those veils are no longer there. So everyone is having the opportunity to open their eyes and to become more, to realize more. It's a beautiful time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It really is. I mentioned earlier on, it says all shields of disguise are evaporating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And beings of immense powers. And it's like, wow. So,
Absolutely.
everything you said, everything we all said is basically the same thing, but looking at it from different angles and the depth that it goes into. And we are in an amazing time. I say that over and over again. I say things are getting really weird out there. I do say that a lot. It is. But the world it looks like it's turned upside down, and it's going to right itself. So everybody hang in there. And Terry, you you gave a great dissertation on the Lord's Prayer, at least the first line, and it says a lot, and what the meanings are behind it. It may mean, as you said, may mean something for somebody else, and it's wherever their consciousness lies. But it brings forth a whole other way of looking at what has been given us by Jesus, or I call him Yeshua ben Joseph. So he came in here and to bring that light with him, and people are still looking to him as their savior, and we've been talking about that savior is really, it's us, each of us,
deep within, that God within.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, he was the example. He was the perfect example of how a human can be in physicality and still be in contact with who they really are. And he was never intended to start its own religion and that kind of a thing. He came as an example of how to be, how to live, and it was all love and forgiveness. That was it. Forgive turn your cheek and forgive, treat your neighbor as yourself, and all that was all about love and forgiveness. No judgment at all, no comparison. We've talked about those injunctions,
Mm-hmm. Remember, we've had many different lives, and I get the term aspects of ourselves and other timelines, and however you want to look at it, other existences on other planets, all of that. We do all of that. Mm-hmm. If we can imagine that. And beyond physicality, all of us have talked about that today, about this is beyond physicality. So, it's taking your mind and the heart mind and understanding that, that is existence. Even though we're seeing it in the physical here and we're experiencing the physical, but understanding that we are so much more. So thank you. And it makes you look at Christmas a little bit differently. So that the Christ Mass, or the Christ consciousness, what does that mean? And we just explained it all. That's what that is going into that state of being where we know we're so much more, and we start living from that point. So we're changing our reality because we're changing our perception of that reality. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Speaking of Christmas, there's a great movie on Netflix, I believe it is, called The Boy Named Christmas. And it's a really cute movie, that the kids would enjoy too. And it keeps the spirit, doesn't matter their age, it keeps the spirit of Santa Claus, but kind of like goes way back and how Santa Claus and Christmas all came about. So I highly recommend going and seeing. I watched it. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, you're the second person today, that mentioned that movie.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, how about that? So I'm writing it down. You have to take a look at it. So that appreciate that. The Boy Named Christmas, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Let me get some other number here for you. Hold on. I want our listeners to be able to, if you have grandkids or younger kids, and they want to talk to Santa Claus, I want to give them a number that they can call, and they can talk to Santa Claus. Hold on. Let me find this number.
Okay.
I wrote it to all of my children for their children. Okay, let's see. If your parents are younger, yes. So this is a message straight from Santa. You can call. The number is area code 605-313-4000. 605-313-4000. And you actually can afterwards leave a message of the things that you would like for Christmas, and Santa will work on it. So our listeners, let your grandkids, let your children call and talk with Santa.
Oh, that's sweet. Well, one word I want to bring up, because I heard it loud and clear this afternoon or earlier evening, and that is the word delight.
Delight?
Delight, yes.
Okay.
So it's delight of the season, delight of us in the changing of ourselves, and understanding who we are, that be in that delightful stage, full of delight. And something to remember throughout this Christmas season. And I think, Royce, you were mentioning about all the lights on the tree, and that can be each one of us.
Yes, us, if you view us as spirit sparks, all of us existing in the tree of life, it gives you a little bit of a different way of looking at the Christmas tree. It's looking at ourselves in that beautiful, beautiful light.
Well said. Well, we wish you all a grand Christmas and New Year's. And now, Terry, I'm not sure you won't be here this next episode on the 30th, I believe.
So 28th is the date.
20th. Yeah, 28th. Yeah.
We'll have to play it by ear whether we even have a podcast, unless you ladies for sure are planning it. And again, tune in. And if we're not here, we're not here. But family's coming, and it is a wonderful time, and if things fit in, we'll be here. But if not, we'll be back 2 weeks after the 28th.
Well, I think we're going to. I'm feeling right now that we will be there. And Terry, if you can join us, that would be great. If not, because only because of the times we're going through, and I'm hearing that inside. So it's like, let's do it. So. Anyways, we'll play that by ear with you, Tara, but appreciate that. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful holiday as the months roll on. And wow, are we in exciting times.
Aren't we ever?
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everyone. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Good night, everybody.
And please just remember how beautiful you are. No matter whether you can see it or not, you are. Believe my words. Take them in. You are splendidly beautiful, filled with immense power and light. And I thank you all for being here, for staying as long as you've stayed. And my wish for you is that all of your days are filled with joy. I love you.
Good night.